Welcome to the Hollywood Scholar. I'm Jed Morgan, and I just finished watching season 3 of The Umbrella Academy. And ever since that phenomenal top tier season 1, which I think is some of the best television Netflix has ever produced, season 2 really pushed the boundaries of what it meant to be on the precarious line of mediocre. Not even that, it jump roped with that mediocrity line, with moments that were pure gold to moments that were abysmal, hard to even watch. And it seems like season 3 is the sequel to season 2 and not season 1, at least in terms of quality, because it once again jump roped with the quality of mediocrity. There were some great moments, some terrible moments. Fives is still the best part of the series. Him and Big Daddy Hardgraves, they're the best parts of the show. Every time they're on screen, they deliver incredible performances that draw you in and create some of the best moments of the series. And then everyone else is kind of 50-50 depending on their material that they're given. And there's just a lot of mediocrity from everyone else on the cast, and especially from the writing. And it really matches season 2, where it was a strong start and a strong finish with a fluctuating middle, to say the least. Season 3 was just like season 2 in that respect, at least. The finish was very strong, and the beginning was good. I enjoyed most of the first episode. I will be getting into brief spoilers here, so spoiler alert. Umbrella Academy Season 3 sees the Umbrella Academy, back in the present with the Sparrow Academy, the drama that creates, and they create a grandfather paradox with an actual scar tissue of the paradox starting to suck in parts of the universe, and then they have to deal with the universe itself collapsing and how to reboot it. There were a lot of coincidences throughout the season, not least of which the one random place in this entire city that the Umbrella Academy decided to hide out during their bout with the Sparrow Academy happens to be the one place in the entire universe where there's a back door into like the machine that controls reality or some shit like that. That seems very coincidental, and they never explained it. If they had said something like, the professor took Klaus there a lot as a kid, and he had a lot of good memories there, so that's why he went back to it, because in the end, it was revealed the professor owned the hotel. Something like that, a throwaway line that would have kind of tied things back together. It's like, no, this random hotel that Klaus just randomly decided to spend time at, and randomly decides to invite his whole family to when they're on the outs with the Sparrow Academy, happens to be the place with the back door into reality. That was a very dumb coincidence to put it all together, and really wasn't explained well enough, and the whole backdoor to reality thing wasn't explained very well either, with the whole whoever created the universe did this. It did end in such a way that I think it could be the final season if it weren't for that final shot of all the Hargraves building. If they just cut that off and said, hey, they're all normal people now, they've created the perfect timeline. It was like a wish, and everything that they wanted to be the case in this timeline is the case. And they just went off into their lives. That would have been a decent ending to all of this. But with the Hargraves closing shot, I have a feeling that he's going to be the big bad of season 4. And they've been building to that for a long time. For the other characters, nothing too much to say. Klaus had a lot less to do, and I think that's good. He's good in small doses. He's a fun character, but mainly in small doses. Luther, I have a soft spot for the actor because he appeared in Doctor Who, so I always enjoy his performances. But he had a stilted romance with What's-Her-Bucket from the Sparrow Academy. It felt forced more than anything. They did have decent enough chemistry, but it was rushed. I mean, they were only there for a few days, so I didn't really feel the connection there. And holy fuck, Allison was jumping the insanity jump rope in this season. She was like, I'm evil, I'm gonna kill everyone. I'm like so amazing and nice and soulful. I'm gonna kill. It's like all over the place. There was a very little through line for her wide swings in character. It was too much. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention her ineptitude when it came to morality and the writer's inability to call her out for her bad morality. Now, character making immoral decisions is fine as long as the show and the writers are able to make a clear statement that that is wrong, or at least is equivalent to the immorality of the crime that the character commits. Allison straight up tries to grape Luther. And he barely cares, and she's just all mad, and it's like, you want me. It's just to make herself feel better. That's grape. She tried to grape him. I can't say the word on YouTube, but she tried to do it. And the show barely gave two shits. It's like, yeah, it's kind of wrong, but she's feeling bad. No, she tried to grape him. It's just like Wonder Woman. They don't even realize how bad this type of stuff that they're saying is from a moral perspective. That was awful, and at the end of the show, she's more than happy to have her happily ever after with the man she loved from back in the 60s and her daughter. But what happened to her daughter's real baby daddy? Oh, yeah, she's so selfish that she's just like, you know what? His relationship with our daughter can't be as valuable as mine. Fuck him. Let's take away maybe what could be the only important part of his life. Yeah, so she didn't give two shits about the father, which is, again, a very consistent thing with this show, is when it comes to fathers, the show does not give two shits like it does with Diego. But yeah, the straight up ignoring for the most part, her grape scenes, and then her replacing the father and not giving a shit, yeah, that was immoral, and the writers didn't seem to care. And it's the writers not caring to point it out or make an emphasis that it was wrong is where the problem is. Characters can make bad decisions as long as it's noted and condemned by the writers and the other characters. That was not the case whatsoever with Allison and her heinous decisions. The Herald stuff was fine. I mean, they needed an explanation why there was a paradox and why all the moms died. That was fine enough. I think it would have been better with the whole through line of the professor being the villain of the thing. If he'd been the one to kill their parents, I think that would have worked a lot better. Just personally, the Diego Lila stuff was fine. They had a decent enough relationship in season 2, so I was fine seeing that continued. And the whole father-son dynamic with the fake son was all right. And they did some feminist things that I wasn't okay with. It was very clear that Diego had no agency when it came to everything that was going on, and he was made out to be the bad guy for some of it, for trying to protect his unborn child. I'm not okay with that trope in modern Hollywood where it's like, oh, a pregnant woman should be allowed to be put in danger, and it's no one can tell her no. She's got a vulnerable life on board. It's okay for the father to be worried about that vulnerable life who doesn't get consent into these dangerous situations. So it was just a lot of discussions about that. And then there is the elephant in the room, which is the Elliot Page situation. And I think they handled it very well for the first 5 minutes of them handling it, because of course the writers had to do something about it. They would get murdered online, and Elliot would never come back if they didn't address the situation, the writers if they didn't address the situation. And they did fine in the first 5 minutes. So like, all right, we'll give the character a haircut and we'll tell everyone that the character's name is Victor now and move on and ignore it. That was fine. And then all of a sudden, Victor goes around to like every single character and is like, are you all right with this? And they just kept bringing it up and taking away from the action. Umbrella Academy is at its best when it's focusing on the bigger picture, whenever it's with the apocalypses of each season. That's why the beginning and end of both seasons 2 and season 3 were the best, because there wasn't room for the bloated personal stuff. It was only the big stakes, the big scenarios. And so the Elliot Page stuff really detracted from all that, and it's the same with all the other personal stuff. It really detracted from the bigger picture, and the bigger picture is where this series excels, at least in the last 2 seasons. Overall, I think it's roughly equivalent in quality to season 2 overall, with just those high highs and those very, very low lows. It's a schizophrenic show. That's what it comes across as. Some good stuff, some really, really bad stuff. And, I don't really care for season 4. Again, like I said, it ended in such a way that I would be happy if it ended. It was a nice enough ending. If it weren't for that final shot, you could just say happily ever after and be fine and be done with it. I think that's the best that can be done at this point, especially with the lackluster reaction to season 2 that at least I saw, and I saw no hype whatsoever for season 3. I had to be reminded that it was even coming out. So I don't see Netflix deciding that they continue with season 4, unless there's something with the numbers that I don't know about that they haven't revealed. I just don't see the need creatively or the need from the fans to really continue this. I'd like to see how it all turns out. I definitely was fine with it. I'm never going to watch it again. I'm going to watch season 1 over and over again. That's a very good self-contained story that I love. So season 1 is the only one worth watching still. So at the end, I'd give this about a 5.5 out of 10. Really mediocre at the very best, just all contrasted out. But anyway, that's all I have for today. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Anon. If you like what I do here and want to see good, compelling stories that Hollywood will no longer give you, check out my book series, Odyssey of a Phoenix, a mythological epic about philosophy, morality, and modern-day mental illness issues. Books 1, Down in Flames, and Book 2, Apocalypse Then, currently on sale. Book 3, Kill the Dark, coming soon.